I'm going to discuss about what is ASP.NET, what is web application, what other technologies can be used to build web applications, what are the advantages of web applications over desktop applications, and how ASP.NET web applications work. So this video will be helpful for the students of semester 5 of BCA course. So let us first of all see what is ASP.NET. So ASP.NET is a web application framework developed and marketed by Microsoft to allow programmers to build dynamic websites, web applications, and web services. Now see, what is a framework? Framework is a collection of classes. So next, what is a class? You know that class is used to define attributes or properties and methods. So once you create a class, then whatever the methods are defined inside that class can be used outside the class. So suppose if you want to use any class in your web application or web page, then you can call that ready-made class. No need to redefine that class. So it sets the reusability of the code. So there are a number of ready-made or built-in classes in .NET framework that can be used by the programmer to make their task or to make their coding programming as easy. Like suppose programmer wants to convert any string type of data into any number type, then there is a ready-made class like say convert. Convert class provides a number of methods like say you want to convert string into double, you want to convert string into say integer, then that many methods are there. So task of programmers becomes easy. Next is the websites and web application. Websites means what? It provides a static content. It does not allow you to do any changes dynamically in that particular page, and they are developed with the help of HTML, CSS, and you can say JavaScript. And examples like say w3schools.com is a website, tutorials.com is a website. So they just provide you the content, they just provide you to the information. You cannot make any you cannot get any information as dynamic information, so they are not connected with the database. However, web applications are connected with the database and they are interactive, so they provide the dynamic information or content. As for example, you can say Facebook is there, YouTube is there, Amazon is there, Flip, Flipkart is there, Twitter is there, Gmail is there. So many web applications are there. Next is ASP.NET was first released in January 2002 with the version 1.0. And before that, there was a technology used to make the websites was active server pages, that is ASP. Again, it was the product of Microsoft. So ASP.NET is also a product of Microsoft. So it is not an open source, it is a license source product. ASP.NET is built on Common Language Runtime, allowing programmers to write ASP.NET code using any supported .NET language. Means .NET framework supports provides number of languages. More than 19 languages are supported by .NET framework. So the programmers have a good command over any particular language. They can use that language to make the code of that web page. Like suppose if I know VB language very well as a programmer, as a developer, then I can use that language to make the code of web page. If I have good command over C sharp, I can use C sharp language. Next is active server pages. You can say it is more commonly known as ASP. So that enables us to make the dynamic and interactive web pages, and it uses server-side scripting to make that dynamical and interactive web pages. And these pages are not affected by the type of browsers the website's visitor is using. Whatever browser is used by any visitor or users to run or to access that particular web application, the pages are not going to be affected. The default scripting language used for writing ASP is VBScript. However, if you know about JavaScript, then you also can use it. And nowadays it is known as JScript. Next is, what is web application? A web application is an application that is accessed by users at any time from anywhere using an internet and web browsers. So the examples of web browsers like say Microsoft Internet Explorer is there, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, Apple Safari, and Netscape Navigator. That means now what is web application? So you can say that any application, right? Like suppose Amazon application, Amazon.com application you want to use, you want to use Flipkart, then you can use that application at any time. At midnight you want to use it, you can use it. In early morning you want to use it, you can use it. And from any place, whether you are in garden, whether you are in mall, whether you are in college, whether you are in at home, wherever you are, you can use it. So that says web application. However, it requires two things: internet and web browser, a browser which can understand HTML language. So now next question is there only one technology is ASP.NET using which we can develop a web application or websites? Then say no. There are a number of technologies in a market, and some popular technologies are like say PHP, Java, Perl, and Ruby on Rails. So these are the other technologies which can be used to build a web applications. Next is the advantages of web applications. Web applications just need to install on web server. However, desktop applications are required to be installed on each and every computer where you want to use them. Meaning is what? Right? Let us see. Suppose I want to use Microsoft Office, right? In our lab there are number of computers and we want to use Microsoft Office. Then what we have to do, we need to install that Microsoft Office on each and every computer of our lab where we want to use it. However, if you want to use like say JG College application, right, website, then you do not require to install on your machine. You can access it, you can use it using your machine which has web browser and internet. So it does not require installation of each and every computer where you want to use it, but it requires to install on one machine, that is known as web server. Next is maintenance, supports and patches are easier to provide. Means what? As I said that if you are using web application, then you have to install it only on a single machine as a web server. Now later on, if you want to make any change in that application, then you can make that change, and then you have to reinstall that particular system on how many machines? Only one machine, that is web server. So on web server you just need to reinstall it, so you don't have to reinstall it on each and every machine where the users are using it, right? Because they don't want to, they don't have to install it. But however, if you want to change the, say you want to use Microsoft Office and its version is changed, then you want to use it in our lab, we need to uh, uninstall from the each and every computer, and when we need to install it on each and every computer, so it requires more tasks, more time, efforts, right? So you can say its maintenance bigger, more. Next is only a web browser is required on client machine to access a web application. So if you want to use Flipkarts, what you need on your machine or on your mobile, you just need web browser with the internet. But suppose if you have developed any any desktop application using like say VB.NET and backend as Access or whatever database, and when you want to use it, you may require to install that many softwares. And then another advantage is what? It is accessible from anywhere at any time, provided there is an internet, that already we discussed, right? And then cross platform means what? Whatever the platform means, whatever OS is used to download that particular web application, it does not affect on the client side. At the client side means clients, as we know that client requires only web browser. So whatever platform is used to download that particular web application, it can be run on any platform. So that is cross platform, means on any OS. Now next, how web applications work. So web applications work on client server architecture. What is client server architecture? So we can say client is what? A client means what? A user who gives a request through the web browser and internet to the server. So client side a web browser that understand HTML is needed with the internet, and it gives a request maybe for files, maybe for data or maybe for services. So once a client gives a request through the web browser, then that request is given to the server. So on the server side, web application runs under Microsoft Server, that is IIS, Internet Information Service or server, and fulfills the client's request for the content. So if you are using ASP.NET technology to develop web application, then you have to use IIS server. So in figure you can see that there are three clients and they want to use one single web application, right? A web application can be used by number of users or the client. So web application is installed on that particular machine, then it is known as IIS. On IIS it is available, and from that it can be used by number of users or the clients. So you can see in a figure, these are the clients. As and when any request is given by this client, then that request is sent to the server through the internet. And we know that the internet is using HTTP protocols. Through that request is given to the server, and then server gives the response to the client. So you can see that suppose as and when this client gives the request for any page like say www.google.com, then that request is given to the web server, and from that it fetches the particular page and displays that response in a web browser of the client machine. So that is how web application works. So I hope all of you understand about this, how web applications work. Next time we will continue for the next topic. Thank you.